So I want to win on the field, and I want to be able to win it at all levels.
Yeah.
So I think we can do both.
Yeah.
I don't want to win at all costs and then have this shit culture. So I want to win on the field, but also I want to win at all levels. Yeah, that's a driving force for my leadership.
Welcome team, I'm so excited today to bring Craig McRae. The reason I'm so excited because I've got a hit list of people, of the world's best leaders, and mate, I don't know if you knew you were on that list, but you are. We've met before, we've spent small amounts of times before, and I just love what you will share in this episode. The people that listen to this show are mostly leaders, business leaders, coaches, teachers, the people that are always making a difference in other people's lives as well, like you do. I love your vision. I love your values-based approach that you're a premiership winner. And when I say that, the people that don't follow AFL, you won 3 premierships as a player. You've done your time in coaching, winning premierships at lower grades as well. And then you take on a head coach job at a massive club and you win a premiership in possibly the best grand final ever. But I love how you coach. I love how you treat your people. I love when I mention your name to someone that's worked for you, what they say about you. So I don't usually script things, but we're just going to chat, and I just know you're going to deliver gold to this audience.
You're very kind, mate. I'm blushing. Jeez, it's a good start, isn't it?
Well,
thanks.
Mate, yeah, so I'm not exaggerating any of that. What I will do, though, I'm going to ask 3 questions that I want you to answer at the end of the show. So the questions are, how do you define success? The other one is, what's your greatest achievement?
Right.
And the other one is, what has been your biggest obstacle? So we're going to go back to that at the end of the show. But let's just start. We'll just roll with some chat now around, like, if you could finish the sentence, I am at my best when? When are you at your best in your job?
Yeah, when I have full energy, I think that's probably real. I'm doing some work with Trevor Hendy, and Trevor's the former Ironman and incredible human being, and I think he's just helped me sort of grow and be the best version of me, but continue to grow. I think there's a level of care that I can be when I'm at my best. I'm just trying to put myself in other shoes more than my own shoes, and I'd like to think I do that most times, but I only got little feet.
Yeah.
But I'd like to think that, I put myself in other people's shoes more than my own.
So you just mentioned, your own health is very important. You perform at your best when you're physically well.
I think that's real. Like, you got to have high energy to be a leader of anything, really, don't you? Like, and so if you're not looking after yourself and getting tired, and then you got to fill your cup up, and it's not easy. And I'm sort of learning to do that, and I'm trying different ways of, I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
But high energy is important.
Well, if I stick on that for a bit, then what is your routine?
Well, I'm getting there, and there's a level of walking, and there's diet, and there's sleep. Sleep is, I think that's the most important.
Yeah.
I think sleep, and I'm when I first started this role a couple of years ago, I got into this clockwork of going to bed, 8:30, 9 o'clock, which is not too sexy to get your pajamas on early and go to bed with the kids, but then I would do that. But then I'm waking up at 3 a.m. I couldn't break it, and because the mind's going, and what do I need to do? How am I going to do this? Whatever, and so being able to turn that off become a skill, and so work through that, and then so I left the first year, and number one priority was my sleep.
I'm going to stick on this for a bit, because when I say leaders are listening to this show, I'm talking some very big leaders that are running huge businesses where their minds don't stop.
No, it's hard. It's hard to turn it off.
And then there's coaches out there that when you're head coaching, your mind is not stopping. So there's people listening that are really relating to what you're saying there. You mentioned you're working on it and it's become a skill. what type of work did you put into this to front load this area of your life? Because you coach better if you sort this out.
Yeah.
So
I think naturally,
being aware of it to start with.
Yeah, identifying it and then creating the habits around it, consistency with it, and then going even deeper. Why am I sleeping well, or why am I waking up at 3? And then working on that part of it and measuring. I started to measure that with an aura ring and all sorts of things, and just being a bit relentless with it. I'm probably digressing a bit, but being relentless with, okay, if this is critical to my performance, what am I prepared to sacrifice or give up? Or, I'm not a caffeine drinker anyway, so but just modifying certain things. And then even when I wake up, how do I then get the things out of my head to then be able to then sit down and go again? And it's not easy, but I've sort of turned the dial a bit towards better sleep.
I'm really I'm fascinated in that, because I know we're all educating athletes around better sleep. It is the best drug they could get would be sleep, right?
Yeah.
And I know there's some sports science teams out there that are, there's some very successful players in rugby league, and you've got them in AFL that are sleeping with the aura ring, and now you're saying you're doing it as a coach. It's very impressive.
There's on Netflix at the moment, the starting 5 is they follow the NBA players around.
Yes.
And LeBron James reckons it's his number one priority is his sleep.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. And then, okay, so we were on the health bit there, but you then mentioned you're at your best with your level of care.
Yeah.
That would have been influenced for your whole life. Like, if I start talking about your influences now and their traits, are people coming to mind? The best leaders you've had, do you remember them as real carers?
No.
No?
No,
okay,
no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
No, I think the best leaders I was lucky enough to be involved with were really powerful figures, and and they role modelled other versions of leadership. I know Lee Matthews, he's on the wall behind you at the moment.
Yeah.
He was my unbelievable coach, and his leadership style was real man management. Yeah, and it probably wasn't care as a centerpiece of it. It was more like he knew how to drive the bus. This is the direction we're going.
Yeah. And this is how we're doing it. And he'd lead from the front, and then he had this incredible ability to go, all right, you got it now. I'm going to sit at the back. So then all of a sudden we're going, oh, aren't you? And then everyone stepped up, and ultimately, with the success you talked about as a player, it was player driven. But we formed the foundations, and the path was forged by Lee, and the direction, the culture was all Lee. But then he stepped aside, and he actually used this snowball analogy. When the big snowball going down the hill and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Yeah.
He said, when it's getting bigger, get out of the way. And it was something that stayed true to my thinking, is that, okay, you got this momentum of get out of the way of it. Like, don't get in the way of this, players and team.
Yeah.
Just sort of keep it on track, if you like.
I might stick there with Lee Matthews. Let's talk about him more, because he is a legend in the coaching space.
Yep.
So he coached you again. He coached you to 3 premierships.
Yep.
You just mentioned that he embraced a player-led culture. Like any of these teams now, you watch anyone on grand final day holding that trophy, they are player-led.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. And there's, I'm sitting here and we're in the off season and we're about to start. Like, we're a week away from starting our pre-season. And I know if you go outside in an hour or so, there's about 25 players training with each other.
Yeah.
Now that's not driven by me.
Yeah.
Maybe it's cultural driven, potentially, around standards. But that's intrinsically driven by the players.
Yeah.
So you can't be successful unless you've got a drive, like a motivation to improve yourself or be part of something, or want to be part of a higher purpose, if you like. And Lee was I think he was ahead of his time, because we're talking early 2000, 2001, 2 and 3, when we had back-to-back successes, and he introduced personality profiles.
Yeah, okay.
So every player did one, and it made us understand who we were.
Yeah.
And I had no idea why. I thought, like, I'm a mature player at that stage, 28 or whatever, and I sort of knew myself, but did I?
Yeah.
And then I get this profile, and I know now we look at profiles and we don't want to pigeonhole people and say we can grow and you are this now, but you can be this as well. So we've sort of evolved a bit. But at that time, when someone tells me that you will do this and you'll lose your keys and you're a bit chirpy and then you need structure, I'm going, whoa, okay. So now I need structure. If I've got structure, then I can just be free. I've started to bring that into all parts of my life, and it allows me to shine of who I am.
He was ahead of his time.
Ahead of his time. And so then you got 40 players all starting to understand themselves better. And then we even had meetings that with all these profiles you guys can go have that meeting, and we started to really drill down on self.
Yeah.
So then ultimately it allowed us all to just be ourselves.
Yeah.
And so that was somewhat innovative, particularly ahead of the time.
I had a friend who worked for Lee back then. His name was Scott Murphy.
Yep.
Don't you remember Scott Murphy in there?
I know Scott.
Conditioning coach.
Yeah, I know Scott.
Very good in the track and field space, he was. And I wouldn't have seen him for 20 years now. But I asked him once, what was the magic, what was the key? Give me one thing why Brisbane kept winning. At that stage, I was working with the Parramatta Eels, and we were trying hard to win one. In 01, we come that close. And he tells a story. I don't know what your version of it is. I mean, everyone's got their reasons why grand finals were won. He believes Lee Matthews one day got the team in, put a piece of vision up of a 50-50 contest as a loose ball on the ground. He said, if your head and shoulders aren't over that footy, you're not playing. Yeah, he said it was as simple as that.
Well, that was, I do remember many of those sort of opportunities to learn. And I do think that Lee, and the thing that, I've had many opportunities to learn from many people, and the thing about man management was one, but I think that Lee coached team better than I've ever been coached of team.
Yeah, right.
The essence of team.
Yes, yeah.
We're all playing, but are you playing for the team?
For the team, yeah.
So he taught that to us, and so I think we all had this incredible connection, alignment, but also we were prepared to do the things that weren't so sexy.
Like dive on that loose ball.
This is my job, and I have to do that for the team. Yeah. And then we sacrifice. There was so much sacrifice, plus talent. We had a lot of talent. But it becomes a pretty powerful thing when you've got sacrifice for the greater good. Yeah. So he coached team. So I think team is one of his greatest legacies.
Well, I mean, that won't change in another 100 years. There'll be a coach in another 100 years. They might have watched this episode, and they might even be doing. They'll deliver that same Lee Matthews message. That won't change. That'll still win games.
But it's not rocket science, and that's what Lee quite often would say. Hey, but we'll just do it better than what others are doing it.
Yeah.
And so there is a level of that.
Yeah.
There is a level of we coach team and we coach roles and we coach put your head over the ball.
Yeah.
But are you really? Yeah, and to what levels?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or I'm prepared to sacrifice myself for the better, for the team.
Yeah.
But how much are you really? Are you really?
So to get that level of connection and get that willingness to do that for your teammate, it's hard if people aren't in the football codes to understand that connection is so important to want to do that for your mate. How do you develop that day to day in a place where I'm going to love my teammate that much that I'm going to sacrifice my own, I'm going to risk my body for him. I've got to love him that much.
Yeah, and
how do you develop that?
Well, I do love this part of coaching.
Yeah.
I'm a values-based coach, and I'm unashamed to say that I love my players and love and support my staff. And how do I say that in a podcast? How do I display that and make you feel that? I don't know, but other than just be generally authentic, I can love my players.
Yeah.
I do. And I'll it's different, and it's nothing big and grand. I'm not sending flowers to my players and chocolates. It's nothing like that. It's just consistency of, and I'm not perfect. I bet you there's probably players might be watching. Oh, mate, he's
he
didn't
himself. Love me.
No, but there is a genuine care and leadership of style of love and support, and it varies. But yeah, I want our group to generally, be there for each other.
Yeah.
And we're not all going to like each other. It's just unrealistic.
Yeah.
45 players in a relationship, come on.
So how do you do that in a building in a day? Like the schedules are pretty intense of a professional athlete. How do you make sure you're having time and building those connections and showing them that you care? Like how do you do that? Because you got a lot of people you got to care about.
Yeah, and there's a deliberate attention given to certain parts of it. So I'll 45 players, 40 staff. I'll make sure that I, in my diary, just go, hang on a minute, I haven't connected with this guy for a couple of days, or this player. So there might be a young player watching some tapes, and I've walked past opportunity. I'll go sit next to him and say, "What are you watching, mate? I watched your game of the weekend. What are you watching here?" And just spend 5 minutes, and then there's 5 minutes is like connecting, but also coaching, but maybe not coaching, and then it's like, oh, hey, how's things at home going? I won't walk past anything that makes us better without openly telling that person, staff or player. That is deliberate. If someone's done something that I know has made us better, I will either text them, I'll call them, or I'll call it out in front of everyone, or I'll just one-on-one appreciate, hey mate, that's who we are, and I love you for that.
I love that about your coaching. Even if people after this want to go and Google you, like some of the behind the scenes stuff you've done, that stuff in the dressing room on grand final day, where you come in and you had tears in your eyes. You were saying,
I just had a baby, mate.
I know,
my wife had a baby in the morning on grand final. That's nuts.
And they didn't know that yet, right?
Nah.
You stood there and you said, "I love you, boys. I've got 44 sons in here," whatever.
What they did is in their jumpers. We talked about legacy and the legacy the players wanted to leave. So I got them to come up with something in their jumper, like a statement. Yeah, I want to be. What legacy are you going to leave? So what do you want someone in the stands to say about? Geez, he played for Collingwood for 10 years and he was, whatever you wanted to be. So they had it in there and they wore it all year. Yeah. But they didn't know, because I'm going to get emotional. I'm a bit of a softie, but I don't have any sons. I've got daughters. I love my kids. Yeah. But I don't have a son. So I told the boys that, I want you to treat you like my sons.
Yeah. Right.
And so they're my boys. So I had 44 sons in my shirt.
Right. And they never knew you
never
had
knew
that.
it. So the whole year I've got 44 sons. That's the legacy I wanted to leave for them. So anyway, my pre-grand final speech was going to be about that. Hey, legacies today.
Yeah.
It's a big day to leave one.
Yeah.
Grand final day, you leave a big footprint. Yeah. Opportunity to. So my grand final, in my head,
you've got that
I got that. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
But little did I know, my wife's going to have a baby as well.
That morning.
In the morning of, it was due that day, but anyway. So we have the baby, and then I go in there, and I started to choke up a bit because of 44 sons, and then, by the way, boys, we've here we go. We've had a baby this morning, and I think one of the things that this group in particular enjoys is if you do the hard work, if you know that you've done the work and it's in the bank, that match day is just about execution. Yeah. Just go play. Yeah. You know what you need to do. So to try to add any layers to that, we've taken layers out. We've gone light-hearted pre-game.
I've noticed that. So there's no detail. There's a lot of guys loving the dressing room, and I mean, when you said I had a baby today, and the whole room erupts with a cheer, and then they're warming up and music, and they're just loving life.
They love it, and there's a what I can't stress enough. We're doing our hobby for a living. Yeah, come on.
So enjoy it. Yeah,
seriously.
Yeah. No, it was
seriously,
really good.
We're so grateful to be in this position. We get to do it. I've been doing this for 20 years as a coach, and it was 10 years as a player. 30 years to do AFL footy as a job. Yeah. I know there's other layers to that. There's a lot of time and stress and commitments and other things. But when you step back, there's a lot to be grateful for, huh? Yeah.
No, it was really impressive. I encourage anyone to go and have a watch of you behind the scenes and your players. And of course then they play with a level of intensity that's required to win a game.
That's the important part. Like if you fluff around and you got low standards and then you go take the piss before the game, what are you going to get? Yeah. You don't fluke anything, do you? You're like, yeah. So there's a level of comfort going, well, trust and belief that you've done the work.
Yeah.
Rock up and play. And then so how you get yourself to a position of ready to execute, well, that's up to you as the professional athlete, isn't it?
I noticed that. It was really good to watch. It was clear that it was a safe space for them to be themselves. You could see it. And some guys prepared differently, but then when it was time, it was time.
Yeah. And it's almost like, this has evolved over 2 or 3 years. And when I first saw it, I go, "Whoa, I'm getting out of there," because it's theirs.
Yeah.
Pre-game,
It's
you know,
their
you're talking about.
space,
They carry on.
Yeah.
And so I go meditate.
There you go.
I remove myself from that's yours.
Yeah.
I'm going to go get myself ready for match day. I'm going to go meditate and then visualise myself being the best version and come back and we meet on the field.
When did meditation become part of your routine?
From day one as a senior coach.
Okay.
Yeah, I did it. I've done it every game, and it was a new evolution of me.
Yeah.
It wasn't something that I'd done a lot of, meditation, and it allowed me to be, again, going back to Lee, my version of me was being relaxed.
Yeah.
And being calm, being able to be calm in the chaos.
Yeah.
So when I'm that, I can see really clearly. So that meditation puts me in that state.
Have you thought about, or do you do that daily?
No, probably not daily, but I'm doing some other things.
Yeah.
Breathing and other things as well.
Yeah. You're always trying to get better. I've noticed, I listened to some other podcasts you've done before, and you talked about going and doing a course in London. You've gone to Harvard to go do another course. Like you're constant learning. That's so impressive, because again, that's why I love chatting you on this type of show, because that's why people are listening, because they're trying to learn.
Well, we want to get better every day. Like I live in a growth mindset. Like, why can't today be my best day?
Yeah.
And tomorrow's right in front of me.
And that's contagious, mate. I feel it as soon as I walk in these walls.
Yeah.
That's contagious, your approach to that.
Yeah, and we say it, and I often, like it's in all our language about training. Here we go with training. Today's another chance to get better. Here we go. But now I was sharing off camera that me and my high performance coach Jared Wade we're both like minded. We want to keep growing, which is really powerful for our leadership here. And we caught up with Cam McAvoy, the 50 metre freestyle, that won the Olympic gold medal, just at the end of the season. His story is enormous, so if you go and read that and check it out, he virtually got out of the pool. So,
Cam, if you want to come on the show, you're welcome.
Mate, you should.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, because his story is a unique one. He's done less work in the pool. And then, but the basis of things that we got out of it was he measured everything. So I asked him a question about getting to the blocks, Olympic final, 50 metre freestyle. Geez, you must have had some anxiety. He goes, no, I was really comfortable in my thinking. Yeah. I said, why? Because he said, I'd got to a stage in my training that the average time that I was swimming at training would win the gold medal. So he said, I just had to swim at average.
An average game.
And I'm sitting there going, wow.
Yeah.
Imagine going to the MCG grand final and we just have an average game day, we'll win this. So that's lifting your standards though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because your middle part is, so that's lifting your performance. So I'm sitting there going, and I'm coming to this pre-season going, we're going to get better every day, and we're going to measure that we got better every day.
Yeah.
So there's evidence of it, and we can hold ourselves accountable and review it, and it might only be, we can measure the gym, we can measure the GPS, but how do we measure other parts of it?
Yeah.
That's a challenge, and we're working through that. But
that is interesting, because even things like you showing you care and finding those opportunities that with 84 people, those random 5-minute bits. I wonder if you tracked how you were going, because there's things that are very hard to measure that you're brilliant at. And you mentioned your values based. Could you share what your values are?
Yeah, it's really love and support, really. Like I think that's the hallmark of it. And I didn't realise, I come into this role just being me.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be anything more than that. Like And I didn't really realise until someone labelled it, oh, you got a values-based leadership style. I said, oh, do I? So I didn't know.
Yeah.
When someone on the board said that, and I go, oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's me. Yeah.
I'll run with that.
I didn't realise it was a thing.
Yeah.
You know, like, what's your leadership style? I don't know. But just be myself. So,
hey, that takes time.
I'm 51 now, but I only just worked it out. You know,
but it. Well, you've worked out how to articulate it with a fancy way to say it,
yeah.
but it's obviously very authentic to you of how you've grown up, but to be that comfortable and say, I'm just going to be me, like that means you've done time. You can't buy the time you've done.
No.
There'd be a lot of people that get thrown into a position and they feel they have to be like someone else. Like you are very comfortable with where you're at and what you believe in.
Yeah, and I think that's this. I look at life. You know, I'm 51. I've been on a journey of discovery. You know, the evolution of growing up and failing and succeeding and whatever it looks like. But with all that change and evolution of things that have happened in your life, I just wanted to keep picking myself up and keep being better.
Yeah.
And be a better version of me and be a better father and be a better husband and be a better person and I have high morals, but I don't impose my morals on you.
Yeah.
Well, this is just who I am.
Yeah.
I have high values, but if you don't, I don't judge you for not. But that's just who I am. So, you know, to come into a role where now you're leading it, I want my players to leave being better humans.
Yeah.
Now, how do you do that? Well, role model it.
Yeah.
When we first started, I talk about winning. Like it's a big language, winning. Because winning's, it's an interesting concept, isn't it? You're at the Roosters, you finished third or fourth. Did you win?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've sort of learned how to quantify it a bit, and maybe it's leading towards the questions you got at the end.
Yeah.
But I want to win, and I'm prepared to have all these incredible, driven, cultural pieces in place, standards, intrinsic motivation, all these things to be a winner.
Yeah.
On the field. But if you come third or fourth, does that mean you're not a winner? So I want to win on the field, and I want to be a winner at all levels.
Yeah.
So I think we can do both.
Yeah.
I don't want to win at all costs and then have this shit culture and then have players that are just, you know, like haven't developed as humans.
Yeah.
And our club is hated because you do things that, you know, aren't great culturally to, you know, others and all sorts of things. You know what I'm talking about? Like, so I want to win on the field, but also I want to win at all levels.
Yeah.
And I think that's, you know, that's a driving force for my leadership.
When you mention the word culture, define that. Well, how do you see that? Because I totally believe, and again, it's only through time, which we both had similar type of journeys in the coaching space, and I totally believe good culture wins and poor culture loses, totally. And that's only because I've been a part of both.
Yeah.
But how do you've obviously got a good culture here. Culture's a bit of a fad word that gets thrown around a lot, but describe what that means to you.
Well, so maybe just describe what I feel our culture is right now. And I think we have quality people. Culture is your people. It's not one person.
Yeah.
And I think our people feel they walk into work smiling and they leave smiling. So they're happy, and happy people are more motivated. It's my dad, if he watches, he'd be happy that I said that, because he said, great, happy people are more motivated. Good. So I believe that. So making an environment where it's happy, and so what does that look like? So how do you make the environment happy? I think there's little things too in our environment that I'm really proud of, like walk into the job day one and see young men with their shirts off in the gym. I introduced myself, g'day, I'm the new coach. Look forward to working with you. By the way, can you put a shirt on? Because we've got women in the workplace. Little standards. Yeah. And then we weren't having lunches together. People that eat together, there's something in that.
There is.
And we sit around the dinner table every night, myself and my wife and our kids, and we talk about what we're grateful for.
Yeah.
Because we eat together and we share the day. You know, TV's off, we share the day. We eat together here now, we never used to. But then we have a chef that prepares us a meal. We have people cook for us. How lucky are we, you know?
Yeah.
Don't take it for granted. So when you finish, take the plate back and thank the chef.
And thank them, yeah.
Come on, This is not big and grand, and it's not that hard. Like, just be good to people.
Yeah. Did you bring that in? I remember I remember having lunch once with Alex Ferguson, the godfather of all this stuff we're talking about. And he spoke about the importance that he put around eating together at lunchtime. Was when he built his facility, it was everything to him, was building this cafeteria that at a certain time of day, it's very hard to pull this off, but at a certain time of day, everyone from receptionists to David Beckham and everyone in between were eating together.
Yep.
And that was his family. And I was so impressed, and I've never really seen anyone pull it off quite like him. Is that what you've brought
Well,
here?
I read the book on that, but it wasn't... when I arrived, I spent 40 minutes with everyone in the environment, players and staff, and the question was what's working, what's not working, and give us a word to describe the environment. Because I talked about getting the soil right before we started to grow.
Yeah.
I got all these ideas, but you come and go, and they go, can't grow it in that soil.
Yeah.
So what's going on here? So we're working out what's going on. And so one of the things that came up was that staff eat separate to the players. I go, why the hell are we doing that?
Yeah.
Let's change that. So everyone's having lunch, but you talk about alignment? Well, there's disconnection straight away, because one of the words that come up a lot was a lack of alignment or disconnected.
Right.
So, so you put things in place to support what your group needs.
Yeah, no, that's really impressive, mate, because then the word connection gets thrown out a lot on field. So you've got them connected off field.
Well, I liken it, and I say this to the players a lot, it's like a dripping tap. You get a little drip, and then after a month there's a puddle.
Yeah.
And then you can imagine after a period. So this, again, nothing that I'm saying here I think is big or grand.
Yeah.
Like I get an email in the morning of people that are sick. I'll make sure in the afternoon I text every one of them.
Yeah.
Hope you're feeling okay, mate. We miss you today. Yeah. So
Mate,
it's not big or grand. It's like it's just consistency of little things.
It's simple. But this chat, I just dropped Alex Ferguson's name. It's a fair name drop, and it's no surprise you haven't read his book. You have read his book, sorry. Anyone should go and read Alex Ferguson's leadership books, but. The opportunity I had, that I still do today, it's how we met, is I always seek out to chat to someone like him. It was 2002. I'll never forget it. The half an hour I had with him was just like talking to you just now. I was sitting at a lunch table and he goes, "Excuse me, Hayden, just give me a second." And he went over to this lady. Her name was Kath, I'll never forget it. And because she was still there 20 years later when I went and visited again. Anyway, he come back to sorry mate, she was sick on Monday, I just needed to see how she was, thanks for letting me go for a couple of minutes. And he had to go and ask this lady how she was because she was sick on Monday. And the bit about sitting around eating, like it's no wonder like you're doing what you're doing, because honestly, that chat then was like talking to him 20 years ago. You just got a few more trophies to win, and we look forward to your book.
Well, look, I know we reflect on this year and we didn't get, we had success the year before, and then this year we're judged differently, which is rightly so. The ladder, we're in a competitive sporting industry, you got to perform.
Yeah.
But then you go, well, I look internally and I know we're winning a lot of levels.
Yeah.
We didn't win on the scoreboard as much as we like. Yeah. And there's other reasons and things we'll review and get better at.
Yeah.
But I know we're doing a lot right. But we're not standing still. We're not fixed. We're not finished.
Yeah.
And I think if you've got a growth mindset, you're never finished. There's no ceilings on anything.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for that.
Have you articulated what your vision is? Like, what is your vision? Have you gone down that path?
About my own, or
yeah.
I think Trevor's really helping me with that. My life coach, Trevor Henry, I'll mention his name again. Sort of working towards that.
Yeah.
I just don't want to put a ceiling on anything. I reckon 10 years ago, if you said I'm the coach of Collingwood, I would laugh at you. I go, you've got to be kidding me. There's no chance in hell I'm doing that. And but again, with the growth mindset, life takes you on some funny journeys, doesn't it?
When you got that job at Collingwood, I loved listening to you describe your process. We had a chat, off camera before. We've had a chat over the phone about this. You prepared your presentation and you were ready.
Yeah.
You were ready, and you were so confident with the influences you had in your life, and you're ready to present that, and you're a winner. It's all you've known is winning. Could we just quickly talk about some of those influences and why they were so influential, and any lessons? I mean, you dropped your father before with a quote that he'll be happy to hear.
Cool.
Is there any little quotes or lessons that you remember? And let's talk about some of these influences that when you presented for this job, you did present your...
Yeah, and I'd done an 18-year apprenticeship.
Yeah.
So maybe it was just a handbrake I had on myself. I was probably ready years before this.
Yeah.
But getting the right environment around you at home as well was important.
Yeah.
Someone that my wife lifts me up.
Yeah.
I've never had anyone that lift me up and go, you got this.
Yeah.
Like that. Isn't it nice to have someone in your life that makes you better?
Yeah.
Like that's significant. I want to make sure that she realises how much I appreciate her and love her. But then there's going for the job. I got an opportunity. One club rang me a couple of years before this opportunity and said, "Oh, we want you to be our coach." I went, "Whoa, I'm not okay. Let me think about it." And I stumbled on it. I thought, "Wow, this has come. I'm not expecting this."
Yeah.
And but I wasn't ready in my head, so I said no to it. And then I didn't even go through the process. But in my mindset, I said, if another club rings, I'm going to get myself ready, and I'll get that job. So this is just before COVID, so I prepared this presentation over time, and then Collingwood rang, and I was ready.
You were ready.
I was ready, and I go, oh, that's a big club. I'm ready, but I'm not sure for this one.
Because when you were assistant coach when Richmond won a couple of three premierships in a row, was it? Three in 4 years.
Yeah.
So you were assistant there. Obviously, your price tag was going up. If anyone's looking for the next head coach, they're looking at you.
Well, people look for success and fingerprints, and that's how the industry works and most of the world works.
Yeah.
But part of my presentation to the question you asked, some of the key things, I put together a one-page visual of all the coaches I was lucky enough to play under or work with, and it's a pretty incredible lineup of Lee Matthews, Craig Bellamy. I've worked at the Storm part-time for about 6 years, and amongst other coaches of Robert Walls was my first ever coach. He was a premiership coach at Carlton. Mark Williams, a premiership coach at Port Adelaide. He was my first ever coach in Adelaide. Yeah. I had like seven figures. Mick Malthouse here, I worked under him for 12 months. So I'm learning off all these unbelievable, historic legends of coaches. And it's just been, and Damien Hardwick at Richmond for 3 premiership. Yeah. So what I did is I presented that figure and said, I'm a winner.
Yeah.
I know how to win. And what I worked out in that time was winning wasn't so much the outcome.
Yeah.
It was the behaviours of winning that I learned.
Yeah. I
know how to win. I know the behaviours of winning. And probably the defining moment of that was at Richmond and at the Storm. Full-time at Richmond winning premierships, part-time at Storm, they're winning premierships.
Yeah.
And it was the same stuff.
Same behaviours.
It was the same stuff.
Yeah.
There's not this magic recipe. It was the family at the Storm is incredible. The connection and alignment with the staff and players at Richmond. All this deeper layer of higher purpose.
Yeah.
Talking to Billy Slater about the state of origin, he took me into that space of the Maroons play for a higher purpose. New South Wales haven't worked it out.
Yeah.
They're playing for their people. So when I get to Collingwood, we're going to play for our people.
Yeah.
So there's all these things that I'd learned along the way, but I went through every coach that was on that page, and one thing I got out of probably from all of them, and
it's a great exercise to do. I've done the same.
Yep.
And it's an exercise, if anyone out there wants to do it, is put all your greatest influences and leaders and put some of their qualities about what you liked about them, and it's a really good thing to do. But you've been surrounded by some great that 18-year apprenticeship. I mean, that's orthopaedic surgeons are studying 10 years to do their job. You were 18 years of.
Well, I think also
a very good apprenticeship.
I think it's important to also recognise that when we won those premierships as a player, some of my teammates become coaches really quickly because they were star players. I was a role player. I was a role player in a great team. So star players get opportunities quickly to do. Oh, you're a coach. You're a great player. Now you're going to be a great coach. And no disrespect to my teammates, but they probably didn't do an apprenticeship.
Didn't do the time.
And then so then they've gone into star players and then had to do an apprenticeship on the job. And I was sitting back watching. I go, actually, I want to do footy for a while.
Yeah.
I'm not in a hurry. And whether that's my end goal, I didn't know. But I wanted to be a career coach.
Yeah.
So then, anyway, that was my journey.
You're a very good storyteller, because I remember bringing Nathan Cleary down to Richmond.
Yeah.
And you were telling me a story about a Cooper Cronk kick.
Yeah.
That I'm going to say you taught Cooper that kick.
No, I didn't do that.
You were teaching Cooper Cronk this kick.
No. And
you were telling me a story that, that kick that Cooper does, man, he practiced that 1,000 times before he pulled it off. 1,000. And I watched everyone. So you were telling me this, and I was like, well, pause that story. Nathan, come over here, because Nathan was connecting with your captain at the time.
Trent Cotchin,
yeah. And Nathan, come over here and tell him that story. So, do you know he went back off the back of that conversation, and I watched him practice that same kick thousands of times. I left that club a couple of years after, and I watched him pull that kick off like a year up.
Wow.
I watched him do it, and I was sitting at home, and he scored. I forget who they were playing against. My cameraman, he probably remembers. Broncos, I told you, he's got a great memory. He kicked that kick that you talked to him about, and I texted him. I said, mate, that was so good. And he remembered the day.
Well, the context of the story that you're suggesting or talking about was Cooper would practice it's like a torpedo across his body every training session for as long as I would go there.
Yeah.
Running one way, kicking the other way, and the winger catches it, scores a try. And he did it. We practiced that training forever, and I never saw his game.
Yeah.
And then 2 years later, State of Origin, he does this. I saw it, and it was like, whoa, there it is.
Yeah.
But I think the story itself is about perfecting your craft and the length of time you're prepared to put into something to execute it.
Yeah.
And that's, watching, as a coach, you get to see the best of all the athletes. I watched Dusty Martin become one of the best trainers in the competition. And then all of a sudden he's the best player in finals maybe ever. And you watch that evolution of him as an athlete. Then you go to every club I've been to, the best players are the best trainers.
So really,
it's so obvious.
Simple.
It's because they've got the talent,
and they're the best.
And they're the best trainers
of the game as well. Do you feel?
We've got a young lad here, Nick Dacos.
Yeah.
He's unbelievable talent, and ridiculous talent. He can do things I've never been. He kicks the ball like no one else can do. He's one of the most meticulous trainers you've ever seen. He trains that hard. He's in there watching tape, and what more can I be doing? So you got talent, and then you have this incredible work ethic. No wonder they're the best players in the competition.
Would you advise I catch up with Dustin Martin? Did he become
Dusty? I've got to tell you.
Yeah.
I reckon he averages 100 words a day.
Yeah.
And I reckon he sets out the day for 100 words. I don't reckon he uses 100 words in the day.
Right.
He's not an over. He doesn't talk much.
So if I caught up with him on camera, I'll just go for about 90 words.
you'd be doing
But
you're
saying he became the best trainer.
I watched the evolution of him. He was an average trainer, and then he became a really good trainer.
So even without the title of leader, he became a leader.
Well, his version of it, because he didn't talk.
Yeah.
But geez, doesn't know if you're an AFL follower when you watch Richmond in those finals.
He was player of the match in every grand final.
Three North Smith medals.
Is that the best ever?
So far.
In the history?
So far.
Of this great game?
So far.
Wow. Mate, let's go back to those questions that we started with.
Okay. I might have answered one of them, did I?
You probably did answer them. The first one was, well, you did talk about winning in different areas. The first one was, how do you define success right now where you sit?
Yeah, and I think that's probably you want to not win at all costs. Success is measured, for me, it's about winning at all levels. And so, I say to the players, and I said this is the best and fairest at the end of the year, I believe you can win and be a loser. I believe you can lose and be a winner.
Yeah.
I think you can. And so I want us to lose and be winners.
Yeah.
And I want us to win and be winners, act like winners. And I think that's sort of formed as a philosophy around a few things, but watching Federer and Nadal play tennis, 5 sets at Australian Open, Wimbledon, whatever, do you know who the loser is?
Mm.
Like, seriously, there are no losers there. I know only one gets the trophy, but those games are epic. Yeah. And the way they carried themselves, win, lose or draw, humble, gracious, I sort of get a lot of thinking from that. So when we lost a final a few years ago, and it was my first year, and we played out of our skins. The Cats were top and we finished 4th, and we lost by a goal. And we played out of our skins, and we had about half a dozen guys laying on the ground after the game. And I went off at them, and I hadn't yelled at them since I took over as coach, but I went off at them. We're not losers. Get yourself off the fucking ground. Yeah. Get up, because we should carry ourselves with great pride in that performance, and we had to play the next week too. So get yourself ready. We're ready to go here. Yeah. So we these habits of, what is it to win, the winning behaviours. Yeah. So success for me is being a winner. Yeah. Not just on the scoreboard.
I love it. What's your greatest achievement?
Podcast with you, mate. Is that?
Well, this is going global this way.
Okay. No, I think it's pretty easy. I'm my greatest achievement is not really achievement, but being a father. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty special. I love my girls. Being a father.
Awesome. Okay, what's been your biggest obstacle?
I think that there's many. I've failed more than I succeeded. I've had to have a lot of resilience to keep getting myself up. I think my greatest achievement. My greatest.
Well, your biggest obstacle.
I think the obstacle is to get out of my own head.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, to be able to overcome the inner self-talk that that you're not good enough, or you can't do this, or being able to overcome, win the battle within. Yeah. Win the battle within.
You're doing well at it, mate.
Yeah, well, it's a work in progress.
You're doing well at it. Yeah. And you mentioned before having people around you that, you've got this. That's important.
But it's not. I'm not saying it's a confidence thing either, because I'm really confident in what I'm doing. Yeah. I think it's just the natural course of the inner voice at times. Yeah. Being able to learn to turn it down.
Mate, I've loved this chat. Honestly, I could keep talking to you all day. I guess you feel that. We're going to go for a walk and a talk anyway.
Sounds good, mate.
But mate, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Good to see you, mate.